It's that time again to state that I'm Thomas Crow. Wait. I'm Dr. Chatter. At least, I think I'm one of those persons. For tonight's episode, I have a special guest with me. Dr. Mango. Say hi, Dr. Mango. That's right, Dr. Mango. So, Dr. Mango is a mango wine. Ooh, dribble? Sorry, I only have a martini glass because, well, I'm classy, I'm just not all with it. What was that, Dr. Mango? Try saying that again, I didn't quite hear that. I can't do that, Dr. Mango. Naughty Dr. Mango. Now that I have that out of the way, let's get on with the show and look at a topic that I rarely touch. What was it again? Oh yeah, Fortnite. Wait, no, that's not it. Who's been messing with my prompter? See you, Gary? Cliff? Well, yeah. Well, yeah, what? No, I did try turning it off and on again. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties, but we got it all sorted out, staffing issues and whatnot. Not that Fortnite's a bad game, it's just not the subject I'm doing right now in this episode. We'll get to Fortnite later. What game was I talking about? Well, football. Cause the NFL, you may have noticed some of the other episodes, but I tend to chase a lot of things with Pepsi, and they just happen to be, as they say, the official sponsors of the NFL. Now, why am I talking about the NFL? Because Trump happened. I miss those videos where I used to talk about Christianity and how it was really weird. We'll get back to those later. Now, do I like sports? Me. I used to play soccer, I used to play hockey. I still watch an occasional game of those and everything and like it, or play an occasional video game version of it, like FIFA. I like FIFA. It's a good game. Did some cross country and did some basketball, but not for a long time. And I wasn't really good at those latter two. I'm not really a big sports guy, so this is kind of a weird change of pace. I'm going to talk about some stuff that you've probably already heard about because, well, people have been kneeling. Now, it's not that I don't really like football, it's just I don't care about football. One thing about sports that I really like, though, is logo and identity design. And on a side note, I used to have a job where I actually got to work with the official Olympic business identity guide. Now, this Olympic Games official identity material allowed you to make officially licensed gear and apparel for the Olympic Games, which I got to make some of. So, you're welcome, world. In fact, I love the Olympic Games because the Olympic Games allow you to actually come together as multiple nations and just compete one person next to another, engage in friendly competition, not real war, not real fighting. Terrorist incidents aside, the Olympic Games are about coming together as people. But today, Americans can't stop talking about football. And, well, this is quite simple. It started with Colin Kaepernick, who decided to stop riding the bench during the anthem and took a knee at the advice of a friend who mentioned that knees also kind of show respect for fallen soldiers and, people that you admired and everything, and innocent people. So he decided to kneel instead of sit on the bench as a sign of respect. He still wasn't going to salute the flag, but it's still a sign of respect. And this caught on. Now, Colin Kaepernick and other football players are taking a knee during the anthem. And why are they doing this? In this case, blacks, like many other minorities of color, feel like they're being unfairly treated by law enforcement people and other people in positions of authority. So this is why they're protesting. They're not outright protesting Trump, they're outright protesting the fact that they're getting unfairly treated. And some evidence seems to back them up. They are seen statistically having more of a chance of going to jail for the same thing that a white person wouldn't. And these are kind of alarming findings, and there's a lot more behind this, but let's continue. So Kaepernick takes a knee, other players take a knee, and Trump says, oh, these sons of bitches need to be fired. Well, he thinks they're disrespecting the nation and the flag when they're just protesting against police brutality and what seems like unfair police treatment towards them. But Trump, the irrational Georgia peach on a turd that he is, thinks this is all about him and the nation and how it's disrespectful and disloyal to protest, to utilize free speech. Which is fucking crazy, because this nation's all about free speech and it's all about allowing people to peacefully protest. And yes, I know Trevor Noah already covered this, but it takes some repeating because I said the same thing when I first heard the news. You call these players sons of bitches, but you call white supremacists who wave the Confederate rebel flag really good people? You realize that flag was from an insurrectionist enemy army, right? Oh yeah, that's right. You don't remember why the Civil War was fought. Just like you don't remember who David Duke is or what the KKK is. Even though you seem to know these things like 20 years ago, but now you don't. So, and you even hire people onto your cabinet like Jeff Sessions, who's known to be a racist, and Steve Bannon, who runs racist articles in his nationalist newspaper, Breitbart News. Well, you don't have a good track record for looking like you're not racist, Donald. So, waving this insurrectionist flag of enemies to the United States who were in favor of treating humans inhumanely, that's not disrespecting our country and what we stand for. But no, kneeling to say we should stop injustice, that's actually bad. That's not correct. So Trump tweets his, I think these people are disrespectful and disloyal and unpatriotic and all that other stuff nonsense. And then the funny thing happened. Instead of people, the majority of them saying, oh yeah, we should actually, probably just stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag. No, actually, the majority of people started all kneeling and interlocking their arms and kneeling. And even though Trump said that the owners should fire these people immediately, the owners and coaches kind of locked arms with the players and knelt too, in a surprising show of solidarity. And a lot of Trump supporters gave him shit for it, saying it was disrespectful. Well, I think misunderstanding what they were doing it for was disrespectful, and telling people that they should be fired for practicing their freedom of speech, that's kind of loathsome. I mean, I didn't like the people that did the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, but I wasn't saying they should be fired. I'm saying they should be talked to, treated like people, shown where they went wrong, because that's what you're supposed to do. But apparently in this day and age, disagreeing with Trump is bringing the nation together, so in a weird way, he's getting us all to work together. That's kind of fucked up. Of course, Trump praised NASCAR owners, or at least some of them, because they said they'd fire anyone on their crews or team that decided to kneel during the anthem. They have one black guy on staff in NASCAR, but it wasn't even all of the NASCAR officials. And in fact, one of the Golden Boys, Dale Earnhardt Jr., said he actually supported their freedom of speech. In a tweet, he said, "All Americans are granted rights to peaceful protests. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. JFK. You remember JFK, Trump, right? JFK? He's a war veteran. Survived his little PT boat crash and everything. Pretty fascinating read if you read it. Speaking of veterans from World War II, there was a World War II veteran who also went viral online because he knelt in solidarity with the football players. Now, of course, there is dissent among some of the other players in the NFL. I mean, there was a guy, what was his name? Matt Light, who said that he was ashamed to be a patriot because some of his teammates were kneeling. You're ashamed that people can practice their freedom of speech. You know, Matt, you should actually be proud that you live in a country where people like that can peacefully protest and not be arrested or killed on sight. Because that's not all possible in every other country. That kind of makes me feel glad to be a patriot, that people can protest like that and not be killed. And yet, there are some people who said, hey, you know, somebody can shoot you in the head. And when you're talking about shooting NFL players in the head because they're practicing freedom of speech, you're just an asshole. I mean, someone could always do that to you too, buddy. Think about that. Maybe you should stop telling other people they should get shot in the head for practicing freedom of speech. I don't like it when people do speech that says, we hate this group and we're gonna go against them. And that's all you guys seem to be doing. Is we hate them because they're kneeling and we're gonna rah all over them. Well, maybe, and this might just be an observation that's specific only to me, but you appear to be doing the hate first without thinking, whereas everybody else is reacting to what you're doing now, and you're wondering why they think you're the racist, or the bigot, or the horrible person. Well, this might be why. Now, as football players go, I mean, rather than siding with Trump and his ideology, wouldn't you rather side with that famous football player who died in war? What was the name? Tillman? Oh yeah. Well, how did he die again? Oh, he died from friendly fire, which the military knew almost immediately, and the White House during George Bush's administration decided to use this football player, who was a soldier, as propaganda. And basically said he died under enemy fire when they knew full well he had died by friendly fire. And they used it to deflect from other things that they were doing that people were all abuzz about in the media. And yet people are bringing this up and saying Tillman died so that people would not disrespect our flag. And they started using Tillman as a champion for these anti-kneeling protests that are now going on the Trump side. Well, actually, Tillman's wife came forward and she said no, he actually thought that George Bush's war was illegal and said so numerous times, and they knew full well that he died from friendly fire, and they lied about it to use him as propaganda. And he's actually for freedom of speech. He fought and died for people to be able to do what they're doing on the football field, which is kneeling. So stop using my fucking husband's name and image to prop up your side when you're obviously wrong about knowing what he was like. But that doesn't stop the side on Trump's side of supporting whatever Trump says, because Trump's an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. And other idiots just think that he does, so oh well. And some other people in America are taking this to new highs, or lows as it were, as a Buffalo Bills stadium worker quits his job when the players kneel during the anthem. Way to not let it affect your life, buddy. Good job. And Tomi Lahren, the snowflake princess of the alt-right media, has declared her final word on the issue of this whole kneeling during the anthem thing. She says that free speech means you have to listen to people saying things that you don't agree with. but doesn't want to hear them do the speech they do because she doesn't agree with it. You know, Tommy, you may not think we hear you, but we do. Obviously, you can't connect that thing you call a mouth to that thing you think is a brain. Remember, Tommy, kneeling is a sign of respect for fallen individuals like soldiers. It is a sign of respect. It is not disrespect. You're just stupid. Oh yeah, and that crazy little ditty that you guys are all gaga for and thinks being disrespected, yeah, guess what? It used to be a drinking song. And from what I hear, it was pretty lewd. So put that one in your pipe and smoke it. If you want to be disrespected, use a song about drinking and sex. There you go. Yeah, that's nationalist and patriotic. In a weird way, it could be construed that way as nation building. But yeah, I mean, come on. It's just a fucking song. And of course, Tommy in the video is wearing a shirt that says she doesn't kneel. Well, I bet she kneels. Whoa, dude, guys, hold up, for Jesus, what the hell? Why'd your minds go there? Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh yeah, I guess, well, the gutter. I mean, we are in the era of Trump, so I guess when you grab him by the, you know, you can, and you all, stuff, and such. Hey, almost the title. Now he's already called these white supremacist racists from Charlottesville good people, despite the fact that these people went to peacefully protest with riot shields and helmets and clubs and guns and flak jackets and quite possibly even mace and smoke grenades or tear gas. There was stuff going off. We're not really sure where it came from, but it wasn't cops. So you side with them and you call these peaceful protesters sons of bitches. You know, like that one white supremacist that fired a gun into a crowd during the riots? Like that guy? Or was it like that other guy who drove the car into the counter-protesters, killing one of them? Was it that white supremacist guy? That guy? Was that the good guy or was that the bad guy? Because I don't think you know, Trump. You're obviously not fucking paying attention. Oh, and what was this when you pardoned Arpaio? I think it was his name, the guy that said that his jail was actually a concentration camp and he tortured his prisoners and even some of them died, and he gets pardoned before he's even sentenced. I mean, Trump, you're making it very obvious through your actions what side you're actually on. It's not on the side of free speech, it's on the side of screw what the brown man has to say. At least, that's really what it looks like. And if you're not trying to do that, you're really going about it in the wrong way. I mean, really like the exact opposite way. So, reverse course. Of course, we also saw this, Donald, when you were in your birtherism craze. When Obama was elected. And you were like, he's not even American. He's a Muslim. And he shouldn't be president. Where's his birth certificate? Where's his long form? And guess what? He was. Again, you got caught doing something that was really, really racist. And a lot of people are calling you on it, and you're still denying the shit even happened. You went to that black church and you swayed around like an idiot? That didn't look like you were worshiping. That looked like you were trying to fool everybody into believing you were having a good time. It really did. I mean, I could keep going on with this list, Trump, but it's very obvious now that you're not the champion of the oppressed. No, you're kind of making yourself more the champion of oppressors, which is not a good thing to be. And really, all this racism shit is just getting blown out of proportion. There's stuff happening all the fucking time, for people being shot in their car when they said they're their legal licensed holder of a firearm, people being shot when they run up to get helped by police officers. Or what about that 8-year-old kid who was the target of a racial hate crime when they tried hanging him, and the perpetrators of the hanging were 14-year-old boys. Or the football players that got kicked off their team for dressing up in KKK hoods and burning a cross with all holding guns and posting that to social media. I mean, this is insane, guys. There's a guy that got punched on a bus because he was a white elderly man, and a bunch of black guys beat him up. Stop fighting each other. You guys are being stupid. I mean, there's even a 24-year-old guy who started beating a man in a Starbucks and saying, "Shut up, slave." Well, yelling it, screaming it, whatever. But you understand what I mean. This is absurd, people. Racism is bad. You need to stop having these views. It's causing a lot of crimes to happen. We need to start getting past this. And Trump is definitely not fucking helping. You know, there was even a volunteer firefighter in the news recently who said he'd rather save a dog than to help a million, and then he used the N-word. But you know, there is one thing I want to know from that guy. Would he save a black dog? And of course, other news that's kind of fallen through the cracks that I'm just going to touch on is, of course, there was Marathon Gas after Hurricane Irma refusing to serve black people. And anti-racists at Fenway Park hung a disturbingly racist sign, which doesn't really prove their point. They kind of failed and they got kicked out. People, stop being dumb. And speaking of dumb, a Southern man actually has been flying a Confederate rebel flag at his home for a long time, and people keep calling him a racist, so he got sick of this and hung up a sign right next to it that said "Slaves for Sale." This to show he's not a racist. Like, okay, I know Trump's doing the exact opposite of what he should be doing, but you're going above and beyond to, outdumb him. I mean, seriously, with a sign like that, of course they're gonna think you're racist, you stupid shit. And if you want to know why the flag is racist, you can watch my other videos on the flag and its symbolism. It's very easy. Stop being stupid, get some education. Now, this person, of course, who hung this sign is going to be slapped in the face in a few days. Not because I myself am going to do it, but because the individual is fairly tall and it takes quite a while for his hand to reach up to where his face is at. He's also from the South, so they do things a little bit slower. So a couple days, they'll slap himself and figure it out. Even Anthony Bourdain had a quick little Q&A where he said if he served Trump dinner, what would he serve? He said he'd serve him hemlock, which I know is a poor taste joke. And they pressed him and said, why did you just say that? And he's like, I meant to say kale. Now, I understand it's a joke and everything, but, I mean, threatening to poison someone as a chef isn't the best thing to joke about. Just saying. What was even weirder and kind of more disturbingly funny was that Ann Coulter actually defended Anthony Bourdain's joke. But she's been doing some weird stuff lately that seems to be not on the Trump bandwagon, so we might have to talk about more of that later. And of course, people like Roger Stone, who helped Trump with his campaign, and who's it? Oh yeah, that piece of shit con man Jim Baker, televangelist, have all said that if Trump is impeached, it's going to be a new civil war. Well, apparently you also don't know what the Civil War was fought over. So, yeah, you need to go with Trump and some of the other people I mentioned. Go back, watch some of my videos on the Confederate flag and racism, Civil War. We'll get more into that later. Don't worry, I'll keep bringing you back to the good side. You don't have to stay on the dark side forever. You can learn what the Civil War was about. You guys keep saying that these people doing their protests, that are these minorities, that their speech is inherently wrong. Well, you're doing exactly the same thing they used to do in the past. So, congratulations for staying the course and showing that you are doing what racist people do. I mean, you guys gotta notice this. It's pretty fucking obvious. Even when I am wearing the goggles, it's pretty fucking obvious. But I guess it's not all bad news, Trump. I mean, Tucker Carlson, I think it was, said that you staring at the eclipse was the bravest thing any president's ever done. Unless you count Andrew Jackson, who charged his would-be assassin while his assassin was firing 2 pistols at him at nearly point-blank range. And Jackson beat the guy into submission. But if you think that staring up into the sun is more impressive than charging a would-be assassin and beating him into submission, well, you might just be really stupid. What did you do, Trump, when you thought someone was going to assassinate you during the political run? That person jumped over the little retaining wall or whatever it was and ran after you, and you were startled and you jumped and you turned around and you stuttered and you stood there and you didn't know what to do. And while you were caught like a deer in the headlights, this guy was subdued by people protecting you. You let other people do the work. You weren't Jackson. You didn't charge this guy. You didn't subdue him. You're not fucking brave. You dodged the draft saying you had health reasons. And yet, to get into the election, you had a doctor sign a letter that he wrote saying you were the perfect specimen of health. Really? Then you should have served in the military, you piece of... You know, I hope that if you ever see Andrew Jackson, because you don't really know if people are really living or dead, do you, Trump? I hope when you see Andrew Jackson, he gives you what you think is an overly enthusiastic high five and bitch slaps you upside the face. In fact, that could be a new thing. We could all high five Trump again. Help high five Trump again. I mean, even if it's just upside the head, maybe he'll start listening to people if it happens often enough. Could hurt? Maybe not. Will he listen? Probably not either, but blame his hair. Whoa! Whoa! No, his ear hair! God! Your mind keeps going to different places. I mean, it's not even staying consistent. You thinking I'm saying things I'm not saying? But if you want to chat or got a beef with what I said, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share me like a virus and watch me spread through the internet. And if you can, like me, because I'm adorable. Subscribe if you just can't wait to see more of me. And if you're even more impatient than that, don't forget to ding the little bell so you can be notified as soon as I post a new video. I've been the host, Dr. Chatter, with my special guest, Dr. Mango. And we'd like to remind all of you that knowledge changes the world. Along with some very stupid tweets, apparently.